and today's solo role playing is finishing off Tulu Saloon's journey in the game Notorious, which I'm enjoying because Tulu didn't die after the first half an hour. It seems very swingy, but then it would be because it only uses D6, and that has a tendency to be a bit more swingy, D6 games. It's like the 5 parsecs from home and 5 thingies from the 5 leagues from the borderland, and those the 5 core games. They're very swingy. They're awesome storytelling games. I've digressed, haven't I? They're awesome storytelling, but they're very swingy. So Notorious is awesome, but a bit swingy. But anyway, I digress. Let us continue the journeys of Tulu, who is on the aquatic planet of Veltari. They've been travelling around the planet quite extensively. We've been on a landing platform, which is a bit like an oil rig. We went to Gilroth, the floating city, and we are presently on a Kamano barge crawler, trying to find Fez Talon, who is our target that we have been employed to deal with, and who is a member of the Mystic Order who went rogue and switched sides from light to dark. We have come across our 2 leads, the first being Dart, who was a Murian, such as Tulu, who we dealt with, and the second being a human scoundrel, Duncan, who defeated us on our first confrontation, but due to the roll we survived it, then went back to confront Duncan again, and this time we defeated Duncan. So now we are on our final stint. We have some information that we got from Duncan to help us try to find our target, and we've been accruing other pieces of information and meeting a few people. We are quite low. We have a notoriety of 7, so our notoriety is quite high. We have no motivation. Motivation is used as a reroll mechanism. You burn 1 motivation point to reroll 1 die. The game system utilizes a challenge die type situation. Unlike Ironsworn, Morkborg, Solitude Defilement, where you have 2 challenge dice, weak, strong hit, this is just purely you must roll higher than the challenge number. So we can re-roll a dice using a motivation, and we had lost our additional piece of armor that we had, so that means we only have 1 armor point, which means that we can only lose 1 attack round for combat, and the target is going to be the hardest thing that we've met so far. So we will continue with Notorious works on an exploration loop. You explore, you reach a destination, you explore, you reach a destination. Sometimes you break out that loop to meet a lead or meet a target. We will go through our final exploration loop. 4 minutes, that's not bad. A little bit of sidetracking and everything, though everyone, according to the YouTube videos I've been watching, will have turned off by now. So I will flip so as we can see some dice. We can see our dice. Again, we'll use, these are the same dice that I've been using all the way through. I think, though, in the early days, I might have been using ones that we kept losing. Purple is us, because these are the ones that always roll high, and for other stuff that you may have seen, these roll 6s all the time. So I don't know, am I cheating? And clear, because they always roll low. We're using as a challenge dice. Is that cheating? No, because dice, strictly speaking, should just roll as they roll. But as anybody who uses dice for their hobby knows, you have your lucky dice and you have your unlucky dice. So we shall continue. So I believe, that was it. Tulu had met Duncan in the bar, so Tulu had had a few cans, been drinking, and then had found somewhere to go to sleep, maybe in the corner of the bar. So we will re-meet Tulu. Maybe Tulu is in a market. So we will say, so the exploration part, we will mould around Tulu in a market, trying to find some breakfast, knowing that today is probably the day that Tulu will be confronting the target and finding the target. Tulu has decided today is the day. So what we might then do is the same as we did last session. We said that we'll do a certain loop of explorations, and then we will say that we will confront the target. Because of our notoriety, we basically, if we roll a 2, 3, 4 or 5, we will confront the target. So we're avoiding it to try and build up resources. So let's see. So when we said against the lead, I set 3, and then we could get the advantage. 4, and then sorry, Duncan would get the advantage. So maybe let's give ourselves 5 or 6. Oh, I know what we will do. I will steal an idea from the solo guide for Twilight 2000 4E, which has a dynamic, which has a sort of, what's it called, drama dice mechanism. So what I'm going to do, because I so happen to have some other dice out, I will get a, so it might not work. Yeah, okay, yeah, we're going to do that. We'll do this. Yes, we will. Yeah, okay, yeah. Sorry, I'm going to say that at max we will have, let's see, maximum we will do 6 iterations of exploring, maximum. But it can happen earlier. So what you do is you have a certain dice, so you can steal this. Strictly speaking, it's not for me. You set a certain dice. If we roll an 8 on this dice, then we will go down to a 6 for the next. And if we roll a 6, we'll go down to a D4. And if we roll a 4, then the event triggers. So the earliest that this will trigger is in 3 turns of exploration, because we could roll an 8 for the first turn, a 6 for the second turn, and a 4 for the third turn. In the you know, the slowest is it's infinity. It never happens. But we've set a natural max at 6. So we can go exploring for 6 turns of exploration, see if we can get extra armor, extra motivation, some assets to help us, and then we have to confront the target at the end of that. Or if we're unlucky, we only get 3 turns of exploration, and then we're confronting the target. So at the start of every turn of exploration, we will roll the drama dice. So number 1, 6. So number 1 is just going to happen. We don't decrease yet. So we will explore. Maybe I should have thought about that beforehand. According to that YouTube video, I should cut the whole of that out because it's not worth your while. But you might learn something. So Tulu is in the marketplace and he's starting to explore around. 1, no sign of the target this turn, but something interrupts our hunt. So whilst going around the market asking some questions, we will now roll on the exploration events tables. This being the table, this being the entry. 6 and 2, which is the same as they've been doing. 6 and 2. You stumble upon an unusual statue that looks like it's been here forever and pick up a broken weapon that's lying nearby. Okay. So in amongst this at the back of let's steal from an altar. At the back of this market, in an area that seems to just be people don't really go into, there is a small altar. This is a statue. Let's make it an altar with burning candles on. Maybe some sort of fish god, an idol. I've been playing Call of Cthulhu, so maybe there's an emerald, green, isn't it? Emerald. A green emerald stone idol is set on a plinth, and there are various small offerings that have been laid in front. And one of those offerings, maybe underneath some paper, underneath something that catches Tulu's eye, is a weapon that seems to be broken. So then it says roll a d6. We get a 4. You witness a vision of the previous. Oh, okay. We pick up the gun to just examine it. We would vision. We see. Okay, we pick up the gun to examine it. We see a human male who is weeping, laying the gun down. It was his partner's gun, and his partner was caught in an ambush and killed, and the body was returned with the weapon, and this citizen, it was offering up the gun to the deity to help their partners passing over into the next realm. So what we learn is that this place is quite religious, which could be why the mystic order is quite strong in the force is strong in this place, in this area, and we gain 1 motivation. Cool. So from the back of that, we notice something which will then be our destination, which is just a d6, a 2. Okay, so it says you arrive at a small outpost or enclave run by a challenging faction. The challenging faction is the Trade Alliance. So we're in a little market, so maybe at the back of the market there is there's a set of offices which are sort of hidden away, and it was only that we're at the back near this little altar that we noticed out of the corner of our eye this little thing that people keep going into. So Tulu went to have a bit of an explore, and sticks their head in. So we have choose 1, search. For anyone who might know your target, gain 1 favour. We've already got a lot of favour. Or speak with the local who works there, and then have a rest and gain 1 motivation. So what we'll do is we will just lean in, and Tulu will lean in and chat to the receptionist. Lean in and chat to the receptionist. Get a cup of water. Ask the receptionist, so where do you have breakfast around here? Where's nice that I can have something I haven't eaten yet? Well, there's a really nice noodle bar just at the front entrance of the marketplace. They do the best imported noodles. They come off-world. They're really nice. Or if you're into something that's a little bit more stodgy and cooked, there's oh god, what's that? Kanji? Is it called kanji? Like the mixture of fish, and it's like a grits type thing. It's grits but with fish in. I think it's called kanji. Just over onto the far right hand side, that's really nice. Don't get the one from over on the left. Their health and safety practices aren't the best. It tastes nice, but you'll be feeling afterwards. And so Tulu thanks them and then goes off to get the kanji because it sounds nice, gaining another motivation. Sweet, we might be equipped enough to actually be able to confront. So then we go back around our cycle, we come back to the exploration phase again, and we might use this. We'll roll this 8, there we go. So that means that we are decreasing down to a d6 for the next cycle. So I'm going to just write, I'll put a cross at the top of my little thing to remind myself. But I know it's over there and that's over there. So we will leave after eating our I'm going to say kanji because I don't know what else it would be. We will then continue our exploration. A 1 again. So there's no sign of the target, but something interrupts our hunt. So we leave. Let's see what we find as we go wandering. A 1 and a 5. So table 1, entry 5. We catch the attention of a hoverback gang who rides up at speed and swiftly encircles you. Alright, let's roll and see what we come with. We come with a 6. They're locals patrolling their turf and mean you no harm. Alright, cool. That works. That's nice. That works better. Because so basically it's just some as we leave the market, one of the local gangs in their colours comes up and they just sort of they're just sort of hovering around and just have a brief chat with Tulu. But Tulu is massive with a massive power hammer and a very large las rifle that they carry around with them. So they're not foolish enough to mess with. And Tulu also has a notoriety of 7 and favour of 6. So they've been around the planet of Veltari, and word has gone out into the underworld that there's someone on the hunt. So, Are you the nomad who's looking for a contact? Yeah. Well, you know they're definitely on this ship, don't you? No. Yeah. I tell you what, I'll give you the details of who you're going to talk to them, and that will be our destination. So then let's roll destination. 4. We didn't get anything out of that. That just says the locals patrolling the turf and mean no home. Why did they feel the need to form a gang and protect their town? Well, we didn't do that bit. We made it up as we went. 4. You arrive at a small. We go down below decks. They send us below decks to it says a small town, so a little shanty, because this barge crawler is massive. It's huge. It's like an aircraft carrier on steroids. It's massive. So we go to a small bit. It takes us a while to get there, which is why our dice degraded. And so what it says here is we can choose between rolling on the destination events table or speak with a local and then rest or barter for supplies and gain 1 motivation. Though the destination events table could give us something, it also could not, and it's a bit of a gamble. So instead, we're going to go down and we're going to start asking questions around the shanty town. Get into a few, so you know, it'll be a montage shot of us going in, having a chat to some people, maybe about, because we've got these charms that we got and that we have on our bandola, so maybe Toulouse will have a conversation about a few of those, and there's some teeth and various things on the bandola, so maybe they'll have a conversation about those, and that sparks people's interest, and they're getting quite chatty, and Toulouse gets a motivation. Awesome sauce. It gives us 3. So we will go to our next cycle of exploration. Rolling a 2, so it doesn't degrade, or trigger rather. I think it's called trigger. I think it uses the term trigger, not degrade. So we start exploring again. So we roll on the main exploration table a 5. If your notoriety is 3 or higher, you encounter the lead. Otherwise, roll on the exploration events table. Now, we're not going to do that yet because we could still do with some other stuff. So we will roll on the exploration events table at this time. 3 and 3. Table 3. Entry 3. Oh, it's those Empire Speeder Scout people again. I remember those from last time. Those 2 scouts. Yeah. Alright. So we got into a bit of an argument with them, if I remember rightly, and they went off. They told us, there was some Barney down the end that they went down to investigate, or with an excuse to leave me be, and instead of confronting me, maybe this will have to be the confrontation. Okay, so I think to start off with, they will come up. Maybe they'll come up to Toulouse, and I think they'll go straight. They will go straight into confrontation mode. Right, hands against the wall. We're patting you down, searching you. Any contraband, you're nicked, mate. That's my aggressive tone of voice. I need to practice other voices. I need to. If there's any good. Okay, sorry. I'm going to say it again. If you know of any good voice coachy type YouTube channels, please let me know in the links below, and I'll have a look and see if I can learn some voices. I am awful at American voices. I can kind of do an Irish voice, but I think it'd be very offensive. I can just about do an Australian voice, which is a bit weird, really, because I live in Australia, and basically all my other accents are because of the British octonauts, i.e. everything is either South American or comes from the north of England. These are just the accents that I like, and I'm always been quite good at. So I've got to the page now. The police officers old Empire officers have told Tulu to go against the wall. Tulu is going to be obnoxious, though it's very solemn. He's going to solemnly basically just try and stare them down. This is a modified roll using notoriety. Tulu's modified or half notoriety is, so what it is half your notoriety rounded up versus the challenge die. I'm going to give them maybe a +2 on their challenge die, and Tulu has a +4, so it is possible for them to win, but they don't. So with their +2 they get a 5, with my +4 we get a 9. Tulu just stands there and stares them down. They attempt to step forwards, Tulu just stares them down. They attempt to get, and Tulu goes, just does a little laugh and says, no. And time ticks, Tulu says nothing. They get nervy, and then they sheepishly edge away. I won't even roll on the threat neutralization table. At some point they're going to have to, I'm going to keep giving, so next time I'm going to give them, if we roll that again, I'll give them a +4. They're going to come mob handed, because they will start to get really annoyed with Tulu, reputation or not. So where does this confrontation kind of knocks Tulu off course? So Tulu ends up, so what we've got, either a bustling market or a scrap crawler. Maybe Tulu decides to go into one of the many sort of market shantytown areas. So this is quite an active area. It's like a swap trade meet. It's a big hall with lots of people have set out their tables. It seems very much a community type affair, and Tulu decides it might be sensible to sort of blend in with the crowd for a short period of time. And so starts to walk around and talk to people. Bustling market. Tulu can get another motivation. That might be good. That will give them 4 motivation. Okay, so Tulu will just talk to people and move around, keeping their head down and trying not to get noticed too much. Gaining a motivation in the time. We're now halfway through the day, because we've done three sets of explorations. So we will do our 4th exploration. We'll roll our drama die, a 6, which means the drama die degrades down to a D4, and Tulu will leave the community markets, and where people have been telling Tulu, so now we're getting closer, Tulu various things about a strange person, a strange Valk who has been keeping themselves in the engineering section of the mega ship, and so Tulu will relocate themselves to, whereas Tulu's mainly been around the upper bits, which are more occupied people, Tulu's going to start exploring the engineering sections of the ship. Let's roll exploration. Tool. So this is if your notoriety is 6 or higher. It is. You encounter a lead, otherwise you roll exploration. So Tulu is just going to explore for this part. So we'll do an exploration roll. 3 and a 6. Table 3, entry 6. I don't know if I'm playing this the way you're supposed to by doing this, but I mean, it seems to, if Tulu went up against a target, as Tulu was, one bad roll and Tulu's done for, and that would make me cry. 3 and 6. So table 3, entry 6. You find a new uprising starfighter half buried in the ground. Well, that works because it's the engineering bit. So whilst going through some lock doors, Tulu comes across a half-built starfighter, which seems weird because it's in the lower decks, and so it says here the pilot is a local, alive in the cockpit but unconscious. Let's say it's the person who's been constructing this out of the way, and they are trapped in a piece of the equipment utilised to build like one of those chain things, so like an engine block that you pull an engine block out of using one of the crank chains. It has slipped, and this local is pinned and trapped underneath. We can either A, wake the pilot and speak to them, lose 1 favour, or B, loot the ship, i.e. just leave them pinned, loot the ship, which we gain 1 motivation. So Tulu is busy on the job, and he's going to metagame the heck out of this. He's going to gain 1 motivation by looting the ship and getting some component parts to basically enhance their power hammer. And as the trapped engineer starts to come around and make groggy noises, like asking for help, Tulu will move. So it says, what does the crackling radio chatter reveal about how the Starfighter battle is going? So there's not that, but there is a crackling radio where Tulu can hear someone asking, "Over, are you alright? You haven't messaged in for ages." Tulu will just move the radio closer to the trapped engineer and then leave and see where they end up, which will be the destination table. A 4. That's so we come across a small, so this is a small town run by the locals. So this would be the cafeteria where some of the engineers hang out. So we arrive at the cafeteria where some of the engineers hang out. We will, because as it's getting later in the day, basically, because we're either going to encounter the target next turn if I roll a 4, or definitely the turn after. So as it's getting later in the day, Tulu thinks it might be beneficial to just quietly sit in a corner, have a bit of a meditation, have a lot of coffee, and get ready for the confrontation, which is the equivalent of speak with a local, then rest or barter for supplies to gain 1 motivation. That puts us on 6 motivation. So that's a very productive tour. So we will go back to the top of the exploration cycle, rolling a d4. Ooh. If this is a 4, we'll keep it. It is a 4. Right, so that means that here is where, because that triggered, which means that this turn we don't get this turn to explore. Instead, we are going to automatically say you encounter a lead, which is page 62. Page 62. Lead. Create a lead for the first and second roll on the species table. For your third lead isn't a lead, instead it's the target. Roll following instructions on page 64. 64. The most successful nomads are relentless in their pursuit of the target. It's only a matter of time before they track them down and face off to earn their bounty. As soon as you're... Yeah, well, we've done that. Okay. Creating the target. To create the target, first roll the showdown. Page 66. The showdown. So we have, for the showdown, we have 2 entries, the site and the setting, where we'll do purple is the site, clear is the setting. A 4 and a 1. I told you they rolled low and high, or high and low. So 4, you track them into a densely packed forest, rock formation, or junkyard. Junkyard works. Junkyard works perfectly. And 1 is you're both caught in heavy rain, wind, or sand, obscuring your vision. So what we're going to say is it's a junkyard, and oh yes, all right, we have to go right down into the guts of the ship where we're told that our target is, where they've started hiding. This is reminding me of some story that I've read, where, sorry, I was in my own head for a millisecond. Apparently that's bad content. And in the edit, I should cut it out. Probably all this as well. Down where it's kind of like Silo. Silo's been out recently, where the stuff falls down. That is going to be various parts of small bits of detritus and rubbish and junk that collapses down and into this area. Oh man, it's a sci-fi thing where they went to this area and it was like a different land. I think it was a film. Was it Robots? I'm going to write it down and then I'll have to look. I think it might be the film Robots. I think it could be that. I think I'm thinking the film Robots. If I am, it's like that. That's what's in my head. There's like a small hut or shack has been formed somewhere, and every now and then junk falls down, and there are a bunch of people in this area who sift through it and try and find the good stuff from the bad stuff. Our target has hidden there, and due to the rust and the dust that gets risen whenever anything comes down, that can cause an obscuring of vision. But we are in a massive junkyard type area. Okay, so that's the showdown. Then with that key information, so we know their species, personality and name. All that remains is to roll on the target table and discover who they really are. Oh, I know, I haven't read this bit. You may get to hear their side of the story before they fight for their life. Or maybe we won't. If we manage to defeat them, then we can make the decisions from that, and then we move on to the epilogue. So first off, we roll on the target table. Let's use a separate, so not one that we know rolls high or one that we know, statistically rolls high and statistically rolls low. We'll use a completely different dice altogether. And we rolled low. A 1. 1. Your first asset, if you have none, the first hostile, we don't have an asset anymore. We had that elder. Reveals themselves to be the target. Lose 1 motivation. Resolve all. How have they maintained this deception since the bounty was set? Okay, so we've either got the first hostile, which is Dart, who we most definitely killed. I believe we pushed the hilt of our hammer through their skull. So if that's them, that doesn't work. So we'll make it the elder. So the elder who let us have the armor, which is why the armor collapsed so quickly. So when we get to the shack and open up the shack, it isn't Fez Talon, a bird-like person. They have been wearing a disguise to make them look like a bird. It actually is the elder, who we didn't roll up their stats. So maybe the elder was a bird. I don't remember rolling the stats for the elder, for the species and stuff for the elder. I think I just skipped over that. So that's not the dolphin trader. Or was that the dolphin trader? No, I don't think that was the dolphin trader. We met the elder a lot further away, I think. I think it was the elder. We're going to make it the elder. So we come in, the elder wearing the different charms, the different things, is sitting behind a desk, laying on a bed, reading a book as we kick in the door and confront them. They stand and we back out, so as we're actually on the outside of the junkyard, and then we've got us shouting at each other across like the little front part, veranda of their house, little shack thing, as dust and various bits of junk fall down and there's cranes moving around making large noises. So you found me. You're not my target. I am your target. That's why I came to speak to you earlier. I thought I'd suss out who you were. I didn't think you were intelligent enough to find me. Don't talk like that about me. I spoke with your comrade, Duncan. He's not my comrade. It says speak with them. Then they attack you in range or melee, whichever benefits them the most, as they know your weakness. They'll attack me at range. So if they're attacking at range, do I get to close? I'm going to pause this just temporarily, just to read this bit, and then I'll tell you what I find. Back. Rolling? Rolling. Nah. So when I've altered the range, that's not rules as written. Raw! So we will play this raw. So our target, whose name is Fez Talon, knows who we are, knows our weakness is range, and so Fez is going to maintain range when engaging. We have the whole junkyard for Fez to maneuver and get themselves around. What we can say is because Fez has +2 heart. So Fez is and Fez is +2 range. So Fez is able to, which is alright because I'm +2 after the first round. So Fez will be able to maintain distance from me. Oh, we lose 1 motivation because we're shocked that Fez has already come up and kind of embarrassed us. Fez will be able to maintain distance from Tulu whilst Fez has hearts. Oh, we've gone over the half hour, but this would be the end. Whilst Fez has hearts, whilst Fez's hearts are all burnt out, Tulu has closed distance, and Tulu will be able to engage at melee, which then gives Tulu the advantage to end everything. So Tulu says, don't mock me. And so then our Fez will go, how about a public duel, Tulu? I hear you're never really good at those. And that will then anger Tulu, who will then open fire on our target, and our target will draw a las rifle and vault over the veranda to take cover and then begin manoeuvring around as they shoot each other. So Tulu is out in the open as Fez has now taken cover, which then gives us, Fez starts with a +2. Fez always has a +2 for the attack, and Tulu on the first round has a +1, so that accounts for that. So we have the purples is us, the clear is them. So they get a 2 going to a 4, we get a 1 going to a 2. I am going to burn my first motivation to re-roll that and see if we can shoot through these. This is going to roll another 1, isn't it? So motivation re-rolling only 1 die. 4, that's good. So 4 + 1 5, 2 + 2 4. Our minigun winds up faster than we're expecting, burns through the sort of the thin aluminium veranda that Fez is hiding behind, melts a pathway, causing Fez to roll aside and scamper up, hop up a pile of broken, what look like old cars but smaller. Reaching the top, Fez will then try to take the high ground and shoot down upon Tulu, who will go into a crouch, roll, and attempt to get to cover. Tulu now has +2, Fez has +2. Tulu gets 5, Fez gets 3. The minigun whines, makes a loud whirring noise, the barrel beginning to start to glow as Tulu strafes up the pile of cars, loosening a few of the lower ones, causing the pile to crumble and fall down, catching Fez unaware, and Fez then has to roll and relocate themselves to a better location, this being now Fez's last. Tulu's still at range, but I don't feel the need to pile in with the power hammer, although we could do. It will end it. So Tulu will take advantage of this to drop the minigun, taking out a power hammer and charging forwards, as Fez will raise his rifle in an attempt to defend and possibly counter-attack. This gives Fez, I'm still going to give Fez a +2, and now Tulu has the +4 for the power hammer. Tulu rolls a 6, Fez rolls a 1, I told you. So that's a 10 versus a 5. So the power hammer comes smashing down upon Fez. Now this is where, if you manage to defeat them, choose to capture them, gain 2 favour, or kill them, gain 1 favour, or let them go, lose 2 favour. So I don't see why we would, if we can capture them, we would capture them, gain 2 favour, I think. Target, choose their fate, spare, lose 2 favour. Kill, gain 1 favour. Capture, gain 2 favour. Alright, we'll capture them. We won't kill Fez. Fez is knocked unconscious. And we remove our plastic cuffs from the back of our belt and lock Fez's arms in place. Hitching Fez up by the shoulders, we drag Fez back upstairs into a vehicle, a ferry that is waiting to take us back to the landing platform, so as we can leave this wet, damp place and go back and get our bounty. So then it says move on to the epilogue. Once you've confronted the target and decided their fate, you're ready to end this chapter. I've never got to read this bit before. This is the first time I've ever actually met the target. Determine your epilogue and finish the game. Multiply your motivation. My current motivation 1, 2, 3 is 4 by 2, giving us an 8. And add it to your favour. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 8, giving us a 16. Ooh, that must be good. Look up the results. 16. Word of Toulou's deeds has spread throughout this sector of the galaxy. Toulou's name strikes fear in their future quarries, but it will be much harder to carry out the work discreetly. Which famous figure gets in contact now? Your reputation is growing. Okay, so we'll talk about that. We might come back to Toulouse for another episode at a future date. But for now, this series will have ended. This is the end of this series. If you continue your story with the same nomad, start your next game with 2 notoriety, 1 favour and 1 motivation. Okay. So for now, Toulouse is back on board their ship. Fez is locked down in the... maybe locked in stasis. And Solo style. Toulouse leans back, locks themselves into their seat. It's got a name, like the cushion seat for takeoff, and takes off. Credits roll. Job done.